Sorry, this is part two of Is It Love? I somehow got caught off and cut off, and rather than starting over, I wanted to just proceed. So I was cut off at, some people think it's the little devil or and the little angel on that we're dealing with on a daily basis. That's a really simplified way of putting it. And it's true, the little, the mind, the ego mind, and the negative habits and tendencies of every human being, it's inside all of us. And as much as our hearts, oftentimes really truly want to choose the next right thing, we have a difficult time with that. So, love is patient, love is kind. And I challenge us to look at the words of this verse from the place of our relationships, and how often we can tell somebody that we love them, and yet that's my cat Collie, and how often we feel very unkind and behave very unkind to people that we say that we love. And sometimes our ego will tell us, like, it's justified, that unkindness is justified. But unkindness is not justified when we are in a place of truth and wisdom. We know when we're in that place and that deep connection with love, with our divine essence as a human being, that no unkindness is justified. So that is a tall order, because each one of us is unkind at times. We like to believe that maybe I'm more kind than I'm not, but we have to be honest with ourselves and each other that we all struggle with choosing kindness sometimes. And just because some of us know that that's a goal doesn't mean that we're better than somebody who may not have gotten there yet. Or it doesn't mean that we're more kind necessarily than they are. It just means that thankfully we've gotten some gifts and some lessons and some wisdom to help us practice being kinder and more patient, more often. And so that's our mission here, is to learn how to practice these principles and behaviors and choices of love and patience. I know for me that's a big one. My kids will tell you, and many people will tell you, that patience is something that I'm working on. Impatience is one of my flaws. Impatience with myself is one of my flaws. And if I'm impatient with myself, I'm impatient with others. That's just the reality. The more patient I become with myself, the more that little pause in my mind will say, anytime I want to behave impatiently towards somebody else, if I'm practicing patience with myself and it's coming from a pure place within, then I am going to just more naturally, more easily, more readily be patient with other people. So love is patient and kind. It does not envy. Okay. Whoo. So let's all acknowledge that we're living in a land of technology, and that when we go on on social media of any kind, that envy monster inside of this brain is always rearing its head. Okay, we look at people, places, and things, and we think, oh, I want that. Why can't I have that? Why does she get to have that, or he get to have that, or why doesn't that come easier to me, or so on and so forth. Okay, so actually I really appreciate this lesson on envy, because I remember I was getting a pedicure one day, and I was sitting there, and a really adorable little girl came in with her father, and he sat and had a pedicure with her. And I was so enamored by watching this and just seeing the sweet little relationship between them. And right away, I appreciated it in the moment, and I was my heart was warmed and touched. But right away, that envy monster was like, how come I didn't get to have that with my father? She's so lucky, right? And then thankfully, because of my practice of being honest with myself and recognizing my negative tendencies, I was like, wait a second. I'm so thoroughly enjoying this. How beautiful is it? And instead of being envious, I was able to turn it into happiness and joy and gratitude, to be able to witness it and to feel the good vibrations that they were putting out around them just by being, present. And I was able to turn that envy into gratitude and happiness for her, that she gets to have that. And in that moment, there was an energetic shift in my heart, and I felt a little bit of a healing happen when I was able to move from envy to gratitude for what I have and for what I get to witness. When I get to witness joy and goodness for other people, and to know that that joy and goodness in other people is also mine. It is also mine, because we are all one. We might not have the direct experience of that, but if we open our hearts to a truly loving place, then we're constantly being flooded with goodness and positivity. So that's my 2 cents on envy. It does not boast. So let's talk about boasting. At some point, we all boast. Sometimes we still boast. Boasting is, sometimes done as a coping mechanism to try to feel better about ourselves, particularly if we're envy about other people, right? We're thinking we're getting little hits of self-esteem when we're in that place of boasting, of saying, and we might not be doing boasting outwardly. Maybe we're too shy for that, but maybe there's boasting inwardly, like, hey, I got it. I did this. I did that. I have this. I have that. So it's not necessarily the verbal boasting, but the energy of boasting. And we all know what that feels like. And it's not in alignment with love. So if I say I am vowing to be a human being who is practicing love, then when that energy rises in me mentally, and whether or not I put it out there into the world verbally, it is still there, and I am blocking love. So let me practice the idea of oneness, that we're all the same. There's nothing to boast on, and we're all channels for goodness and abundance. And let us be humble with that practice of not boasting. And boasting can also play out in relationships when, to people who I feel like I love and who I will say I love, until they disappoint me. And then I might be like, yeah, but I did this and I did that and I did this and you this and you that. That's me in a state of boasting, in a state of arrogance. My mind, I'm blocking off love at that point. So can I remove that? If I start to feel superior in some way because I'm looking at someone's flaws, that's me boasting. That's me chopping people down at the knees. And that's not love. Still, it's a tall order, because we all have these negative tendencies until we really practice and make a decision to practice catching ourselves doing them and turning it around. So love does not boast. It is not proud. Okay. So we hear all the time, take pride in yourself, right? And that kind of pride is fine. Like, I look at that more as like a sense of respect. But I also look at it as an opportunity to have pride in myself, because I am a child of the universe. I am a child of God, if you use God as your higher power. I happen to, but I'm comfortable saying anything. I'm comfortable calling my God love. I'm comfortable